Wife asked for open marriage. I asked for divorce. The last story is really crazy, so watch till the end, and be sure to subscribe, because only 1% of you have subscribed to the channel. I'm wondering if I have jumped the gun or have been reasonable here. We have been married for 12 years now. Things have always been great without any particular up or down. My wife has always been a kind, sweet woman, and up until this, I thought the world of her. And then she went and broached the talk about open marriage. What if we consider opening up marriage? Because all her friends did it, and it's 2024. I didn't get angry or anything like that. I just listened and offered my counters. I asked if her friends are influencing her into this. She said no. I asked if she already had someone in mind. She said no. I asked her to give me some time to think about, and she agreed, stating we don't have to do it if I'm not up for it. I shouldn't have, but in the days after I checked her phone and laptop, nothing suspicious or that suggests she was cheating already. Last week I told her I thought about it, and in my opinion she can date anyone she wants, because I want a divorce. Cue the sobbing, the begging and all. If I knew, I wouldn't have even asked. She refuses to move out, and so do I, so I sleep in the guest room. She's taken sick from work, and every time I am home she keeps begging to talk and go back to the bedroom with her. I believe her friends actually tried to influence her, and she didn't do anything at all, but this unraveled my perception of her. Was I too fast to mention divorce? Relevant comments. Problematic and crazy. IDK, if you were too fast, but honestly, you almost never see a relationship start monogamous, open up and succeed, and there's a reason for that. If my wife suggested opening my marriage, that's where I would go too. That tells me I'm not enough, and I'm not going to waste my life struggling to be enough for the person who married me, therefore telling me that who I am is what she wanted to spend her life with. IDK if it would happen right away, but it certainly would make the eventuality of divorce infinitely more likely. OP. That's exactly what I feel. New arrival, 860. She may not have done anything yet, but she had someone in mind. I don't think you were too fast, as your actions made your position on cheating and the consequences of cheating crystal clear. I would ask her about who she had in mind and where this came from. What would she have done if you said yes? What would she have done if you had a date the very next day? Why was she willing to risk her marriage, and for who? Oop, good points. TBH. I don't think that fantasizing about someone else is that end marriage kind of crime. But if she had made serious plans, it's another thing. Oop on if he still trusts his wife after the conversations. Oop. What more there's talk to. Trust is gone on both sides. We are done. Update April 12th, 2024. I wasn't jumping the gun. She was cheating, emotionally, and planning to do so physically. I checked her phone and computer and found nothing. But she came forward with a second phone I had no idea she even had. She thought I already knew. That's why she came out with it. Just as I was starting to regret my decision, her friends sweet-talked her into it. Apparently those open marriages are just their affairs. The things I saw are stomach-churning. She begs to be given a second chance, and a part of me is foolishly considering to give it to her. But it's not the right thing to do. I don't want to leave her, but I have to for the sake of my dignity, pride, and self-respect. That I love her has become irrelevant. Relevant comments. Why size? You don't need to make a decision this very moment. I would take some space and serious time, but just me, as I have impulsive tendencies. Certainly put yourself first. I say this as someone who discovered an emotional affair several weeks ago. I'm still processing it and still get hit with moments of anger. I printed divorce papers today just so I have them. Oop. I think that if I dwell on it too much, I might risk changing my mind on the rightful thing to do, divorce. I am gutted and I don't want to lose her, but I am relieved that my instinct was correct. Purple Bishop. Infidelity can be overcome if there is true remorse, but you gotta go with your gut here. Oop. I think she is genuinely remorseful, but why should we stay together after this? It's not right. Oop on if the families have found out about his wife's request for open marriage. Oop. I'll do that only out of mercy, because if my family finds out, she'll be finished in our town. The rest is bullshit though. I never cheated, never thought about it, never strayed. And even if I admit I do still love her, I won't stay in a marriage that has become a farce. Not Middle East, Europe, but my family is still important, and at this point it matters more than our marriage. Happiness. Suits you. I don't blame you, OP. If you stayed, she would have to drop all her friends. Is she willing to do that? Oop. She already said she will drop them, and I think she will. But again, for me, she can do anything she wants, away from me. Story 2. New update. My M28 engagement with my partner, F27, is ruined because of a ring. My partner and I have been together for 3 years. We both love each other since the very beginning. She has brought up the topic of marriage for a while, and so I proposed to her last month in Korea, where she grew up. I custom-made the gold ring, with a ruby and 3 diamonds on each side, but asked my parents to make it with their regular jewelry shop they've been going to for a while, out of town. I also organized a professional photographer, then asked her to marry me in a traditional Korean village. She said yes, and everything went very smoothly, except that the ring was too big. She stayed a bit longer in Korea while I returned home for work. She went with her mom to a jewelry shop the following week and asked the ring to be made smaller. The issue started when the shop attendant said the whole ring was fake, the gold, ruby, and the diamonds. I paid $1,500 for the ring, not a crazy amount, but I thought it was a pretty ring. She went to 4 different shops and everyone said pretty much the same thing. One shop valued the ring at only $30–40. My partner and her mom were understanding at first, saying that we would not have knon. When she came back from Korea, she told me that her parents were very upset about the ring, and that my parents, because they made the ring, only valued her $30. They refused to meet my parents, which was initially organized for the end of the year. Her mom said to her that it would be better if I admitted about the fake ring, with a view of buying a proper one in the future. These implied that we gave her a fake ring on purpose. My parents were very upset and told me that they won't bless our marriage. Question: is the ring really the problem here? I'm not sure how to move forward now. I never knew a ring can potentially break our 3-year-long relationship. Edit. None of us knew it was fake. A few days ago, I tested it with an X-ray at a pawn shop. The gold is real. Not sure about the ruby and diamonds. If anyone is curious how the ring looks like, https imgur.com a I have apologized multiple times and showed them the receipt. We are both Asians. Families play a big role in our marriage. TLDR. Proposed to my GF with a fake ring. Her parents accused us of doing it intentionally. My parents get upset and don't want us to continue. Relevant comments, Pixatron32. Exactly what I was thinking. Your parents have snuck away with the money and given you a cheap ring, and now they are trying to distract from their wrongdoing. Even if they didn't do it on purpose, and the real culprit is the jeweler that your family used, your parents, and you yourself, should be trying to understand where the scam was done and making steps to resolve this issue with your fiancé's family. Anyone would be upset about a fake ring and the insinuation of the meaning and value that has, especially more traditional or culturally significant families. You're getting upset over the wrong thing. Focus on understanding the scam, who the culprit was. Send receipts to your fiancé of how much you spent if you need to let them know that your intention was real. I'm not sure how much rings are in Korea, but 1.5K won't get a very nice ring. Diamonds with clarity or fire. Your main gem is a ruby, which should have helped you cut costs. Ultimately, you fucked up because you didn't get this done properly and arranged it to be done by your parents. Take accountability and make steps for reparation, solving the issue with your fiancé and her family. Ope, thanks. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I have sent them the receipt and checked the gold in the ring, which was real. Going to put the diamonds and the ruby in the lab next week. I think the trust has been broken, and it's now about how I restore and build the trust again. I initially asked them to make it because the shop is a small business and local to us. They offer flexibility, and the fee is cheaper than the big brands. My partner and I are into FIRE, financial independence, retire early, so I try to get a good value for everything. Update, February 22, 2024. An update to my previous post, https www.reddit.com/rrr. Relationship Advice SSY6T4Q88JN2, where my fiance's parents are upset and accused my parents of intentionally giving a fake engagement ring. Tested it in the lab, and it's a natural ruby from Burma. They can guarantee the result and can offer insurance letter. https://imgur.com AADKE8V7R. They said there is a natural crack in the ruby and natural inclusion. Probably a jewelry expert can shed some light into what these mean. Unfortunately, because the ring is now genuine, my parents are more upset about the accusation. On the other hand, my fiance's parents don't really trust the result. This is a major trust issue. We decided to let things settle before we discuss our intention of staying together and get married. Question: any suggestion on how to approach this situation? TLDR: the ruby is a genuine natural ruby. Additional information from OOP, no apologies so far. As I wrote on my previous post, I apologized to them in the beginning, thinking it was a fake ring. I asked if she defended me in front of her parents when they were upset. It didn't sound like it. She paused for a good 15-20 seconds before saying she did her best to calm them down. I'm more inclined to break up now, but can't get myself to pull the trigger. She has many good traits that I value, but I do see what's happening now as a major issue. I seem to give in and follow what she wants most of the time. I went to Korea for the proposal because of her high expectation. She wanted a surprise proposal like what you see on social media. I spent 3 months trying to figure out what I had to do. To add to the context, she didn't really want to join any of my family's gatherings. For example, she didn't attend my sister's wedding because she wanted to have a holiday with her family. However, she did give her a very nice wedding gift. My family didn't really like her even before this happened. They didn't hate her in any way, and there was no intention to make the ring fake. It's tested real anyway. Relevant comments. Not for Commentinogu. Thank you for the update. Well done, you did everything right. And now you know. It's not about the ring. It probably never was. Her family will be impossible to please because they have just decided they don't like you. They will now look for another reason to hate you. So it comes down to just you and your fiancé, as it always should have done. What does she think? Does she understand how you are the victim here? Does she understand how her parents are actively trying to sabotage your relationship with her? Is she prepared to be independent from them, to ignore their advice, to defy them, to take your side, to marry you? Is she on your side? I think allowing her a couple of weeks before having that discussion is a good idea if she is living with you, but a bad idea if she is living with her parents, because her parents are pouring poison into her ears about you. Oh, thank you. She lives with me. We have been living together for 2 years. She said the result doesn't matter anymore, but I do believe it matters. It shows how her family resolves conflicts should it arises. Oh, I should clarify that the result doesn't matter anymore because she believes it's fake. No matter what tests we do, the jeweler stores in Korea said it was fake and she believes them. Those were her own words. New update. Updated comment. April 7th, 2024. Update. 3 weeks ago, we decided to take a month's break. I know taking a break is pretty much a breakup, but I said yes. I asked her today if she has spoken to her parents about the ring and about us in general. To this date, she hasn't. I have been fighting very often with my parents to defend her. My parents also got more upset when they learned she hasn't spoken to her parents at all. I asked her why, and she said at this stage she is very happy being alone, because she does not have to worry about our relationship. And so, I ended it. I feel like I have been fighting this battle on my own. I have had a few relationships and breakups in the past, but this time, it really crushes me. Story 3. Parents canceled my F17, sister's F16, sweet 16 after a dinner argument. My parents are very religious and are leaders in their church, and we've had past arguments based on religion. They are also very politically opinionated, and this argument involved both things. A previous argument was mom disliking when my sister and I took dinner to our rooms whenever they were watching political content while eating dinner. My parents wanted to do a family dinner with some church friends before her sweet 16 for something more intimate on her actual birthday. The sweet 16 would have been shortly after on a weekend, and they took her to a restaurant. But while we were there, Mom began talking about Trump to one of her friends, and my sister, Laura, asked her not to talk about politics, which Mom didn't like. Mom told her that she was being disrespectful and that she could talk about whatever she wanted. But when Laura told her that they were there for her birthday, she said it didn't matter and told her to mind her business. Laura then asked if she could sit somewhere else, but Mom told her no, and that made Laura upset. She said she was tired of hearing about Trump. They watch his clips on YouTube, videos about him at home too. And that she didn't get why she supported him too. But when Mom's friend asked why she felt that way, Laura said he didn't act like a Christian and called him a false prophet who was tricking Christians by pretending to be one while committing adultery and other crimes. But when Mom's friend said that you vote for the party's values instead of the candidate, Laura said that that shouldn't give him a pass before Mom finally changed the subject. But on the ride back, Mom scolded her for acting ungrateful and that she'd talked to Dad about her behavior before telling her a few days later that she wasn't getting a sweet 16 anymore for embarrassing them in front of her friend. We already had people invited, but my mom has since canceled the venue too. I tried to tell Dad that it wasn't fair to cancel her party when she already invited friends, along with how Mom shouldn't have taken over her birthday. But he wouldn't listen or change his stance when we talked. I asked Laura if she wanted to do something else with me instead, but she said no and mostly kept to herself since, and they've confronted her about it in her room too. I just want to ask if I can do anything to cheer her up or support her more than telling her I agree with her stance, which I already did, because I don't know if there's anything else I can do at the moment, and she seems really down about the whole thing. Edit. Lauren's birthday already passed. Her birthday was the day we went to a restaurant with church friends because it fell on a weeknight, and her sweet 16 was going to be on a later weekend that worked better for everyone to attend. I love how she's strong enough to stand up to them on her morals, but also afraid that it'll cost her college because our parents are currently paying for mine and hers, and they were willing to cancel her sweet 16 over something as stupid as talking politics at her birthday when she asked not to. They already canceled invitations they sent out along with the venue too. Laura also doesn't want to do any activities in place of the sweet 16 at the moment because she's embarrassed with how her parents canceled her friends' invitations. Update post, April 11th, 2024. I wanted to add some closure to my original post because I received a lot of great advice. A few people suggested telling her friends what happened at the restaurant and arranging a surprise party separate from my parents for her. However, after putting myself in her shoes, I decided against it because it'd be wrong for me to control the narrative of how she wants or doesn't want to tell her friends. However she chooses to tell them is her choice, along with any alternative celebrations she wants to have. And I wouldn't like it if someone told my friends about something personal that embarrassed me, since she was embarrassed with how our mom told her off at the restaurant, along with telling her friends' parents that the party was canceled. It's not my place to control her narrative, so I instead went to her room and asked if she wanted me to treat her to ice cream instead, but she said no and that she only wanted to talk. So we talked in her room, and she vented to me, and I'll mention a few details. The restaurant was not the first time she got into an altercation with them about politics. There was a Sunday where the pastor of our church made a jab towards gays for whatever reason some time back, during Pride Month. And people in the congregation egged him on as he did. My sister, Laura, and I were not among them. We're past the age of Sunday school and sit with our parents in church, and my sister called my parents out for it in the car. She said that his jab being the most enthusiastic reaction in the service, epitomized what was wrong with modern-day Christianity. Too many Christians care about roasting gays instead of what Jesus was actually about, helping those in need out of love. But our parents argued that Christians are supposed to call out wrong when we see it, and that included gay marriage in their opinion. We touched on that briefly because Laura said that Trump's presidency exposed the hatred bottled up in many Christians by making them feel validated in voicing hatred brashly, similar to Trump's brashness. And she said Christianity lost a lot of credibility because of him too. However, she also said that he exposed fake Christians, which was good because Jesus wasn't about hate. The last thing I'll mention is that Dad came to her room to reinforce that she was disrespectful at the restaurant, when all she asked was to not talk politics at dinner. But when she told him that Christians couldn't give Trump a pass for his crimes, some against the 10 Commandments, Despite being a Republican conservative, Dad reinforced his belief in voting for the party instead of the candidate because Christians had to vote against gay rights and abortion that Democrats were for. And he even said he'd vote for Hitler if he was the Republican nominee too. Both of us have permanently lost respect for him because he basically admitted he would vote for any candidate regardless of actions if they championed conservative Christian views. My sister also decided not to have a party this year because she's not in the mood, and I respect that. She said she told her friends and that they respected her wishes not to do anything too. She also promised to take me up on ice cream in the future. But if we do, it'll just be the two of us because she doesn't want any more than that. Notable comments. Rem 1984. Really interesting and sad read. So these kids would have been 8, 9, 10 when Trump got into office. Remember all those kids at all the events? This is them now, brain development. They remember all the stuff their parents taught them apt being good Christians before Trump showed up, but their parents are mad about it. Fries with shake booty. Jesus and the devil could run for office, and UP's parents would vote for the latter if he said the right words. Johnny Slick replied to Fries with shake booty. And I mean for the shidiest of reasons too. Jesus, I believe in universal health care. Satan, hey guys, you know why I created hell? It's for the gays. Republicans, oh yeah, that's great. You know, vote for the party, not the man. China Ruse, Christianity was partly a reaction to the commodification of religion during the Second Temple. It's hard to express just how much Jewish life revolved around the temple's sacrifices, and every sacrifice cost money. During the Roman occupation, the temple would only take donations on shekels, at that time a dead currency, and controlled the exchange rate from denarii to shekels. So Jesus comes along and says, "You don't need to do any of that because I am the sacrifice." Now the Jews have an out. Suddenly the extortive temple becomes an option if only you believe in Jesus' sacrifice. It was cultural evolution in the same way that Judaism evolved an idea of God that could not be put in a statue and did not require human sacrifice. But like the temple, Christianity, particularly American Protestantism, has become corrupted. Now any transgression, no matter how vile, can be forgiven with the right words. This Christianity is a societal enabler, giving people license to indulge the worst sides of themselves while still being accepted by the community. Thanks to Trump, the mask is now off. They will never be accepted outside of their community again. And so demand submission, by violence if necessary. Trumpism and their counterparts are the supernova of 200 years of American culture, and will destroy the cultural institutions connected with it. But it's not all bad. Like a forest fire, these destructive movements can't last forever. Something new will rise up from the ashes. Our great task is to sow those new cultural seeds and get them ready to grow. Story 4. New update. Bridezilla ruins her own wedding. Demands bridal party pay her canceled wedding. Starting the year strong, I swear. So, my friend Dana, F29, was supposed to be getting married this past Sunday, 1/14. The wedding got canceled and things had gotten very crazy. Dana was getting married to Josh, M32. She's still in college with me and asked a few friends from college, myself included, to be her bridal party. Now, from the start, this wedding has been a disaster. I'm going to just point out a few of the crazy stuff we dealt with. She refused to invite my best friend, who she's supposedly good friends with, because she thinks we're lesbian lovers. We're not. She had us go to the dress fitting and then demanded each of us pay $2,000 each for our dresses. Apparently, she had a specific style she wanted. I can afford it, but I won't buy a 2K dress for one event. Some of the girls in the bridal party don't have that flexibility with money. Apparently, Josh couldn't invite any single females that were not blood relatives of him. So if he had any female friends, they were axed. One of the girls in the bridal party doesn't drink because of her religion. Dana accused her of being pregnant in front of her parents and almost got her kicked out of her house. She was not pregnant, and she dropped from the bridal party. She was a class act, though, and never bad-talked Dana. Just said she couldn't make it. We found out about it pretty much on the day of the wedding. She tried to make us cancel our holidays with our families to instead go with her to a destination bachelorette party. I work full-time even during holidays, so I told her that was not happening. More of the bridesmaids said similar things and she dropped it. That's just 5 things of countless drama this wedding was having before the day. Now the meat of the story comes on the wedding day. The day started horrible. Dana was having a meltdown because apparently the flower girl had to cancel because she has chicken pox. She was threatening to sue the mother unless she brought this sick 3-year-old to the wedding. Josh apparently was able to calm her down from this starter outburst, and we began preparations. The whole day she had constant outbursts. She made people cry, like wedding staff and bridesmaids. The MOH deserves a medal for the amount of diplomacy and bullshit control she had to do. I, for the most part, took the easy route and decided to work outside the bridal suite, like checking flowers, making sure food was okay. Basically any excuse not to be around bride. Eventually, I had my makeup and hair done. Then the bride asked for a little bit of time alone to decompress from the stress. We didn't even fight it. You could not see a group of women run faster away. Wedding was starting in 30 minutes, so we figured she would be fine alone for that little. I spent those 30 minutes just sitting in the chapel with my phone. It had to be about 5 minutes before the start of the wedding when Mo came over to tell me the wedding was canceled. I asked her what happened. MOH. Dana was having a quickie with Josh's uncle in the room. Josh caught them. I just stared at the MOH with my mouth pretty much about to reach the floor. She told me to run and that she was trying to get as many people out before things exploded. So I quickly got my purse, gathered the 2 bridesmaids that were carpooling with me, and we left like the devil was after us. I checked with the other bridesmaid and all had escaped. That night, I called the MOH to check what happened, and the tea was bad. Apparently and rightfully, Josh called off the wedding, called her a few names, told off his uncle, and has since left with his mates to, I hope, have the biggest single-man party ever. I feel so bad for him. He's an absolute gem of a man. He apparently also told Donna and her parents that she will be paying the cancellation fees. According to MOH, Donna's father told her in front of everyone that she was paying it on her own for being a slut. I thought that was the end of it. I made the choice to separate myself from this mess. Until I got a call from Dana, not even an hour ago, demanding $5,000 to help pay her cancellation fees. According to Dana, it was our duty as the bridal party to pay her cancellation fees. I obviously told her no, and that she might as well lose my number. I am never speaking to this woman again. This has been pretty much the reaction of all bridesmaids and the MOH. By the way, MOH, Josh's older sister. Relevant comments? Some tea. I mean, the sad part? She had her makeup and hair done, and we left dressed and ready. So yeah, she was wearing her wedding dress for this. Should have stayed to get more info. As much as I like tea, I know when it's best to retreat and get it from a witness. Pretty sure if I stayed, Dana would have dragged us into something. Was Dana always like this? Oh, we're sure there's no moral compass in there. She used to be incredibly nice way back before her engagement, and since becoming the first bride of the group, she became insufferable. We were all on our last thread. How long was she having a thing with the uncle? How long with the uncle? No idea. I found during the wedding and don't have any info on it since. Poor Josh, I hope he finds someone. Nangal, pretty sure half the bridal party would offer themselves as tribute XD. He's a good-looking guy. I don't know him that well, but we've had drinks a few times. He'll find a girl when he's ready in a snap. What happened to the 2K dresses? What were they? Nobody bought the dresses. Some of the girls can't afford it. She had a full meltdown in the chat until MOH got involved and offered to buy cheaper dresses for the bridesmaids. Elisab, dress was beautiful, don't take me wrong. I wouldn't buy it for a wedding. How did that one bridesmaid's parents think she was pregnant when she doesn't drink for her culture? Well, my understanding, bear in mind I'm sharing as I was told, is that Dana and this bridesmaid are really old friends. So the bridesmaid's parents have a level of trust with Dana. Apparently, bridesmaid had been feeling sick a few days prior, and I remember she had canceled something. Then we went to prepare the bachelorette party, and there was going to be an extra charge for mocktails which she offered to pay. Dana found out somehow and spoke first to her parents, telling them that bridesmaid was acting like she was pregnant, not mentioning that the whole issue was because bridesmaid refused to make an exception for the bachelorette party about drinking. Obviously still kind of bad on the parents, but I can see where they are coming from. Bridesmaid is not pregnant for the record. She was actually just sick. Also, in case someone asks, Bridesmaid no longer lives with her parents and hasn't for a few years. Bridesmaid was then contacted by her parents and told to never come back to their home for being a whore that got pregnant outside marriage. I know she lives in dorms, so I imagine she goes back during vacations. It's still the family home and she keeps a room there. This is fake because there are no cancellation fees the day of the wedding. Oh, pardon me for not knowing how wedding planning works when I've never worked or cared for planning a wedding. Because must be common knowledge for everyone everywhere. I translated what I was told. What I was told by the bride is, necesito el dinero para pagar la boda. El hijo de puta cancelo y me están cobrando. Feel free to figure the translation in English. Editor's note. OOP left some long comments in regards to the homophobia. It was too long to include in this post, but if you're curious, you can see her comments in a comment I made here. Update, same post. January 22nd, 2024, 6 days later. Hey guys, I know a lot of people want to know what happened. After talking to Josh yesterday, he asked me to only say that he's okay, figuring things out, and moving on. We're going to stay friends with him and his sister. Dana was told that no one in the group wants to interact with her, and since then, it's been mostly radio silence. I can't share more about Josh's future plans, as he asked me not to. He did have a good laugh at some of the comments I show him and appreciates the support. The one detail I did get corrected on for those curious was about his uncle. He's the younger brother of Josh's mother, and he's 55 years old. I thought he was married into the family, but I got that detail wrong. I also found out the most disgusting detail is the uncle knew Dana since she was a teenager. Dana and Josh are high school sweethearts, so yeah, I kind of feel gross knowing that. Other than that, I got a major haul of cake, so at least I got something good out of this mess. Relevant comments, a little more information. A few things I've been asked not to share, but I can share Josh is okay and working to get things in order. He came over too and seemed down, but we got him to laugh a bit, so there's some good news. No news on Dana. I actually requested to change some of my classes with her or drop if I couldn't find alternative schedule. Not in any hurry since I'm only a student part-time. 29 and still in college? First time for Dana, second time for me. A few of the other girls in my friend group are also returning or starting later in life due college cost. What happened to the uncle and his family? From what I can share, I was asked to keep a lot of details private by Josh himself. His wife, uncle's wife, is planning a divorce. That's really all he wants me to say. The only reason I can't share what's going on with the uncle is because I don't know. I mean, I think he's scum, and I wouldn't let that manho touch me ever. But in all honesty, all I know is his wife is getting a divorce. I'm sure there's some accountability, considering how angry Josh's family is, but that's for them to decide, and I'm not part of that conversation. Editor's note. The lovely Mozart Luna Echo commented about what the bride said in her text. The Spanish version of the message makes absolute sense. She doesn't say that she had to pay a cancellation fee. She says that the son of a gun canceled the wedding, and now the bride has to pay for the wedding. She probably has to pay for the resulting bill since the groom canceled, and he wouldn't pay for it. New update, same post. April 10th, 2024, 2.5 months later. So, I finally got permission from Josh to update on the situation today, 4/10/2024. Going to start by saying he's doing much better. He's moved out to a new place away from Dana and has some of his mates as roommates. He also cut contact with his uncle, as did most of his family. He's put a pause on dating for some time considering Dana was his first and only girlfriend for years. So he needs time to heal. Dana has now become persona non grata with my friends. She even tried to move in with one of them without telling her, by appearing at 10 p.m. at night and saying, "You can't send me away this late at night." Didn't work. Don't know where she's living, but I can say for sure she's absolutely without any doubt very much screwed. She has 4 lawsuits. One from Josh for obvious reasons, one from his sister for the dresses she bought, one from the bridesmaid she accused of being pregnant, and one from Josh's uncle since apparently Dana used his credit card. She apparently moved with him after the failed wedding. So yeah, she threw away her life and she's very much without support. I saw Dana's parents some days ago, and they haven't had any contact with her since the wedding. They are actually moving with their other daughter, 22, to another state. As for Josh's sister, we've been hanging out for a while. She actually becomes super tight with my friends and I. We're even planning a trip sometime next year with her and her 7-year-old to Disney. And yes, we've all agreed to divide the babysitting. We offered. She didn't press us to do so.